afraid to keep on living. I am not afraid to walk this world alone. If you stay, I'll be forgiven. Nothing you can say can stop me going home.
Hey there everybody, it's Drake back with my second video. Today I'm going to talk about problems with school. And before I begin, I just want to ask for your guys' opinion on what you think about my intro. The song featured in it is by My Chemical Romance called Famous Last Words. Now, every video is not going to be the same song, so if you guys have suggestions, just let me know. And as long as it's appropriate, I'll think about adding it for a day. Alright, problem number one with school is, I think, the time. Now, many can agree and many can disagree on it, but I think it's just too early. I'm half asleep for the first few hours. I have no clue what's going on, and I think so many people can relate to that. Now, on the other side of the opinion, people who would be against that is they get to go home earlier, because if we were to go, say, like 10 o'clock, we wouldn't leave till like a few hours later, which I understand that. My second statement would be is the class size. I think that the class sizes are pretty big, and for people who are easily distracted like me and who prefer one-on-one, then I would think that smaller class sizes would be better and help us learn. Now, like I said, one-on-one helps me, and I know a lot of other people, but even if it's just like, let's say 10 people a class, we would have to have a lot of classrooms and teachers to teach a big school like what I have, but it will help people learn. But yeah. Another statement would be how the focus is mainly on sports. Like, all of our funds go to football or other popular sports or the band. And I say band instead of like the orchestra or the choir, because that's mainly where the funds go instead of the other two. Our school chooses the band over the others, and they choose football over her school pretty much. Like, our school needs a new roof, but instead I'm sorry if you guys play football, but it mainly goes to the football team, and our school has a lot of things that we can improve on. Well, they should improve on by putting their funds to a better use. And I seen what they did to the middle school, what they do to the elementary schools, by just adding bigger playgrounds and just changing their parking lot and their security, which I understand security is good, but if they just focus their funds on stuff like that, when parking lots and stuff, then in my opinion, that's just what shouldn't be our main priority. What should be our priority is to make the learning environment better. And this is where my next statement comes in, is how our school lies to us. And I could tell that they lie to us because, take for example the drug search, where they bring in drug dogs to our school. Well, they give people pretty much a week warning and tell us when they do the drug search. So of course they're not going to find drugs or alcohol or anything because they already warned everyone. Same with, let's say for example, warning us about, or not warning us, actually trying to say how we're doing better with our disciplines by saying we're having lower disciplines. Well, that's because the teachers are, I feel like the teachers are told not to give as much disciplines just to make their reputation look better. Like say, hey, our school is doing way better because look at how low our disciplines we gave out this month has declined. And they just like to, another statement will be like they like to put school like as if our life revolves around it. Like, and I understand education is important. I understand we need to go to school in order to graduate and get a good job, go to college, live the life we want to. But if our life revolves around it, we don't really have that much time to do much else. Like, now I can't really speak, like, my opinion is like not as weighted as someone who does sports or sports and band, after school activities, because I am not involved in any of that and I actually do have time. But for the people who are really busy after school, all this homework and added stuff that they give us and will just take away most of our fun time in social life and things like that. And my next statement would be their counseling. In my opinion, the counseling sucks, like big time. Like, we get a bunch of stress. I know, like, the previous generation or generations before that would say, oh, we have it easy, and they had it way harder because they didn't have Google. Well, since it's easier to access information for this generation, school does make it harder for us because they know that we could just find the answers at a click of a button. So they have to find a way to change that so that it pushes us harder. And I understand why they would push us, but sometimes I just think that it's too much. It just adds a whole bunch of stress to our life, and counseling doesn't help us. The counselor's office at our school mainly care about, like, okay, you're going to college, and okay, how are your grades and stuff like that. Like, you can't go to them if you're having anxiety or depression or something happen in your family. Like, they might note it, like say, oh, I'm sorry, but work harder at school. But it's like they don't care. And another statement would be their teaching styles. Now, I'm not blaming the teachers because it's their job to teach us, but they need to, not the teachers, but whoever can make a change for us so that it can adjust to our learning styles would make it way easier for everyone. Like, it sounds like a lot of added work just to teach us, but that would help us out a lot. It would help us learn better, learn the way that we actually learn, and instead of mixing us all together and just say, here, learn, and expect us to learn. And most of the people are learning in a way that it's hard for them to learn. And like a thing that Albert Einstein said is, if you try to tell a fish to climb a tree, it can't do it, and it'll live its whole life thinking that's dumb. And that's true about school, because if they teach us a way that we're not used to or able to do, we're going to live our lives thinking, well, we're just dumb, or have other people think that we're dumb, which is not helpful for us. It just adds more depression, it adds more anxiety, it just makes us feel worthless. Now, I'm not saying that we can't get it done and so we should just give up. Like, we should still try, but I think that they need to pay attention to what our limits are and what we can do, and make our learning experience just that much better. And another statement is their bullying policy. I have been in the high school for, this is going to be my 4th year since I'm a senior. I said that last video, but I'm saying again, I'm a senior. And it seems like their bullying policy just doesn't change. Like, it was bad in middle school, it was bad in elementary school, and maybe there should have been a change in high school, but there's no change at all. It's still horrible. Like, people can get away with pretty much anything, and teachers just turn the other way. And people don't get disciplined for it. In fact, if you stand up for yourself, you're about in as much trouble as they are. So say you're just, trying to get to class, and this guy who has been picking on you, or girl, has been picking on you for like most of your school career, and the teachers aren't going to do anything because either they think of that student as someone who makes a lot of problems where no matter what they do it's not going to help, so they just give up, or they just don't care. And so you're just walking in class, and if they just start beating you up, well, if you try to defend yourself by just hitting them, like say that they're on you and you're hitting them to get off of you, well, school doesn't care. You hit them back, and self-defense is like as if you just murdered them or something, and it's just a huge no-no to them. And I think that that's completely unfair. That's not how they should reinforce things. They need to teach us to, well, for one, they need to teach the bullies not to bully in any way that they can. And they should also teach people to stand up for themselves. Now, I'm not saying that they should just teach people to just stand up for themselves. Well, they should be able to stand up for themselves, but they shouldn't have to. Like, people shouldn't bully. I know I talked about bullying a lot in my last episode, but it's true. People shouldn't bully, and people shouldn't be forced to have to stand up for themselves because they're just getting beat up, or they're being taunted, or just something in that nature. Some form of bullying. They shouldn't have to stand up. They shouldn't have to take it. And that's about it as I can think of. I know that there's a lot more problems with the school system, and I know it's not the teacher's fault for the most part, but in my opinion, school just doesn't care, and that's not right. They just like to have pride in their school system by saying they're the best school, when I bet other schools are way better than them. But they just are worried more about their pride, as if they're back in their school time trying to be better than the other students. which, as I know, and I think everyone else knows, or should know, is that no one's better than anyone else. So, that's just not the way to go with things. I think that they need to change how they do things. I'm talking about school. School should change how they do things so that they can actually be better instead of saying that they're better. And that'll do it for this episode. I hope you all enjoyed. Leave a comment what you think and what song I should put for my intro. And I'll see you on the next episode. Bye, everyone.